Daily Stoic Methods to Conquer PTSD, Post-Traumatic Stress Disorder. Welcome, warriors of resilience, to a journey where ancient wisdom meets modern battles. If you've struggled with the haunting grip of PTSD, know that you're not alone. Today, we embark on a path paved with Stoic principles, guiding you towards inner peace and triumph over adversity. Let's rewrite your story together, one step at a time. Step 1. Embrace the present moment, anchoring yourself in the here and now. In the chaos of trauma, it's easy to find ourselves lost in the haunting echoes of the past or consumed by the anxiety of an uncertain future. Yet, Stoic philosophy beckons us to anchor ourselves firmly in the present moment, for it is the only moment where true agency resides. Imagine the present moment as a sturdy ship amidst turbulent seas. By grounding ourselves in the present, we find stability amid the storm. We can observe our thoughts and feelings without being swept away by them, like a lighthouse standing firm against crashing waves. But how do we embrace the present moment in the midst of such turmoil? It begins with a simple yet profound shift in perspective. Instead of dwelling on what was or what might be, we redirect our focus to the sensations of the here and now. Take a deep breath and feel the air fill your lungs. Notice the sensations of your feet touching the ground, anchoring you to the earth. Listen to the sounds around you, letting them ground you in this moment in time. In this moment, you are safe. In this moment, you are whole. In this moment, you have the power to choose your response to whatever challenges may come your way. By embracing the present moment, we reclaim control over our minds and our lives. We free ourselves from the shackles of the past and the anxieties of the future. We become the captains of our own ships, navigating the waters of life with clarity and purpose. Step 2. Cultivate acceptance, finding peace in acknowledgment. In the aftermath of trauma, acceptance can feel like an insurmountable mountain to climb. Yet within the heart of Stoic philosophy lies a powerful principle: the serenity that comes from embracing what is rather than resisting what cannot be changed. Acceptance does not imply surrender or resignation. Instead, it is an act of courage, a willingness to confront the reality of our experiences head-on. It's acknowledging the wounds we carry, both seen and unseen, and recognizing that they are an indelible part of our journey. In the words of Marcus Aurelius, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. By accepting our past traumas, we free ourselves from the chains of bitterness and resentment. We create space for healing to take root, allowing ourselves to move forward with grace and compassion. But how do we cultivate acceptance in the face of such profound pain? It begins with a shift in perspective, a willingness to see our scars not as symbols of weakness, but as testaments to our resilience. Picture acceptance as a warm embrace, gently enfolding us in its comforting embrace. It's acknowledging our pain without allowing it to define us, understanding that our worth is not diminished by the wounds we carry. Acceptance is a journey, not a destination. It requires patience, self-compassion, and a willingness to confront our inner demons. It's about finding peace in the midst of chaos, serenity in the face of suffering. Let us acknowledge our past traumas with courage and compassion, knowing that in doing so we pave the way for a brighter, more hopeful future. And in the gentle embrace of acceptance, may we find the peace and healing we so desperately seek. Step 3. Practice resilience, fortifying your spirit in the face of adversity. In the crucible of trauma, it's easy to feel like a fragile vessel tossed about on stormy seas. Yet, within the heart of Stoic philosophy lies a potent elixir: the art of resilience. Resilience isn't just about bouncing back from adversity. It's about emerging from the crucible of suffering stronger, wiser, and more steadfast than before. Think of resilience as a muscle that grows stronger with each trial endured. Stoics understood that adversity was an inevitable part of life, but it was our response to adversity that determined our fate. In the words of Epictetus, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." But how do we cultivate resilience in the face of such overwhelming odds? It begins with a shift in mindset, a recognition that every setback is an opportunity for growth. Instead of viewing adversity as a roadblock, we see it as a stepping stone on the path to becoming our best selves. Resilience is not about denying our pain or pretending that everything is fine. It's about facing our challenges head-on. With courage and determination, it's about finding strength in our vulnerability and resilience in our scars. Imagine resilience as a mighty oak tree, its roots anchored deep in the soil of experience. No matter how fierce the storm, it stands firm, bending but never breaking. Like the oak, we too can weather life's storms with grace and dignity. Step 4. Master your reactions, harnessing the power of mindful response. In the tumult of PTSD, emotions can often feel like wild horses pulling us in every direction. Yet within the depths of Stoic philosophy lies a profound truth: the power to master our reactions, to respond to life's challenges with clarity and composure. Mastering our reactions isn't about suppressing our emotions or denying their validity. It's about cultivating a mindful awareness of our inner landscape, observing our thoughts and feelings without being swept away by them. Picture your mind as a calm lake, its surface reflecting the world around it with perfect clarity. When a stone is thrown into the lake, ripples form on the surface, but the depths remain undisturbed. In the same way, mastering our reactions allows us to navigate life's challenges with a sense of inner peace and equanimity. But how do we cultivate this mindful awareness in the midst of chaos? It begins with a practice of introspection, a willingness to turn inward and observe the workings of our own minds. Mindfulness meditation, journaling, or simply taking a few moments each day to pause and breathe can all be powerful tools for cultivating this awareness. By becoming more attuned to our thoughts and feelings, we can begin to recognize the patterns and triggers that often lead to reactive responses. Mastering our reactions isn't about becoming emotionless robots. It's about reclaiming control over our own minds. It's about recognizing that we have the power to choose our responses to life's challenges, rather than allowing ourselves to be swept along by the currents of circumstance. Step 5. Find purpose in pain, transforming suffering into meaningful action. In the wake of trauma, it's natural to wonder, why me? Yet within the realm of Stoic philosophy lies a profound invitation to find purpose in our pain, to transform our suffering into a catalyst for meaningful action. Finding purpose in pain isn't about denying the depth of our suffering or sugarcoating the harsh realities we face. It's about recognizing that even in our darkest moments, there exists the potential for growth, for redemption, for profound meaning. Think of purpose as a beacon of light, piercing through the darkness of despair. It's the guiding star that leads you out of the labyrinth of suffering and into the realm of possibility. In the words of Viktor Frankl, those who have a why to live can bear with almost any how. But how do we find purpose in the midst of such profound pain? It begins with a shift in perspective, a willingness to see our suffering not as a burden to be borne, but as a gift to be embraced. Consider the story of the phoenix, rising from the ashes of its own destruction. In the same way, our suffering has the power to transform us, to reshape us into something stronger, wiser, and more compassionate than before. Finding purpose in pain isn't always easy, and it often requires us to confront our deepest fears and insecurities. Yet, within the heart of our suffering lies the seed of our greatest strength, a strength born not in spite of our pain but because of it. Step 6. Seek connection, building bridges of support and understanding. In the solitude of suffering, it's easy to feel isolated, as if we're navigating the depths of our trauma alone. Yet, within the wisdom of Stoic philosophy lies a reminder that true strength is found not in solitude but in the bonds of human connection. Seeking connection isn't just about finding someone to share our burdens with. It's about recognizing our shared humanity, our interconnectedness with all beings. It's about reaching out a hand to those who are struggling, and in doing so, finding solace and support for ourselves. Imagine connection as a bridge spanning the chasm of isolation, linking us to one another in a web of empathy and understanding. It's the knowledge that we are not alone in our suffering, that there are others who have walked this path before us and emerged stronger on the other side. But how do we cultivate connection in the midst of our pain? It begins with a willingness to be vulnerable, to share our stories, our struggles, our triumphs with others who can offer support and understanding. Joining a support group, seeking out therapy, or simply reaching out to a trusted friend or loved one can all be powerful ways to foster connection. By sharing our experiences with others, we not only lighten our own burdens but also create space for healing and growth to occur. Connection isn't always easy, and it may require us to step outside of our comfort zones and confront our fears of rejection or judgment. Yet, within the embrace of community lies the healing balm we so desperately seek, the knowledge that we are seen, heard, and valued for who we truly are. Step 7. Live virtuously. Cultivating the qualities of a Stoic sage. In the quest for healing from PTSD, Stoic philosophy beckons us to embrace a life of virtue, a path guided by wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. Living virtuously isn't just about adhering to a set of moral principles. It's about embodying the highest ideals of human excellence, even in the face of adversity. Consider virtue as a compass, guiding us towards a life of purpose and meaning. It's the moral North Star that illuminates our path, reminding us of our inherent worth and dignity as human beings. But what does it mean to live virtuously in the context of PTSD? It means cultivating wisdom, the ability to see beyond our own suffering, and recognize the interconnectedness of all beings. It means summoning the courage to face our fears head-on, knowing that true strength lies not in the absence of fear, but in the willingness to act in spite of it. Living virtuously also requires us to uphold the principles of justice, to stand up for what is right, even in the face of injustice and oppression. It means advocating for ourselves and others who have been affected by trauma, and working towards creating a world where healing and redemption are possible for all. Finally, living virtuously involves practicing temperance, the ability to exercise restraint and moderation in all things. It's about finding balance in our lives, avoiding extremes of emotion or behavior that may exacerbate our suffering. But how do we cultivate these virtues in our daily lives? It begins with a commitment to self-reflection and self-improvement, to constantly strive towards becoming the best versions of ourselves. It means seeking out role models who embody the virtues we aspire to, and surrounding ourselves with a community that supports our growth and development. Living virtuously isn't always easy, and it may require us to make difficult choices and sacrifices along the way. Yet, within the embrace of virtue lies the promise of a life lived with integrity, authenticity, and purpose. Warriors of the mind, remember, the battle against PTSD is arduous, but within you lies the indomitable spirit of resilience. Embrace the Stoic principles and let them be the guiding stars on your journey to healing. Together, we rise above, forging a future defined not by our scars but by our unwavering strength. Until next time, stay resilient, stay stoic, and may peace be your constant companion.